Live from Philadelphia, it's the Great Immigration Debate with Tom Giordano.
The Big Talker, 1210 WPHT.
Everywhere around the world, they come to America.
It is the Great Immigration Debate. Welcome everyone here at the Big Talker 1210 and our audience. Feel free to applaud. Thank you very much. Coming to you today, the Great Immigration Debate. Thanks to the Fence guys. Thanks to our partners at the Philadelphia Daily News for bringing us debate. On my left, but certainly not to the left of me, is Joey Vento, the one and only Joey Vento. And on my right, from Fox News Channel now and from around the world, Geraldo Rivera. So we are ready to start our great debate here on the Big Talker 1210. Geraldo, thanks for coming out today. First question for you about this.
Oh, my pleasure first, Don.
Thank you, Geraldo. The Joey Vento sign. Give me your feelings overall on the sign and why you devoted a chapter to starting with Vento to Newt Gingrich and back to Vento.
I think it's extremely unfriendly. You know, that's the main, and in the city of brotherly love, I thought it was ironic that here you have a sign that is not only in your face, totally unnecessary, an insult to many in this immigrant community, I would feel, certainly Hispanics, and I think that Joey knew exactly what he was doing when he posted that sign. He was making a statement, and a statement not about the management refusing the right to refuse service to someone unruly or anything else, but an exclusionary statement, and one that I found extremely ironic given the fact that Joey is himself the grandson of an immigrant.
Joey Vento, Geraldo writes, and I'm paraphrasing, in his book, the chapter that leads off with you, when Joey Vento defiantly put up that sign. Were you trying to defy someone when you put it up, Joe?
I was making a political statement, and my statement was, Joey Vento is an American, so all Americans, the trick to success in this country is learning the English language. Now, you made a statement stating that it's offensive. Offensive to who?
Offensive to many people with any kind of sensibility or open heart or compassion, Joey. Anyone who understands that this is an immigrant nation.
Wait, you're speaking English. That sign's offensive because it says speak English?
How would your grandparents have responded to that sign?
I'm going to tell you how my grandparents are. I'm glad you brought that up. When they went to the store, they didn't expect people to speak Italian. You know what they told? They couldn't understand it. Hey, Dago, you go home until you can learn English and then you come back. That's the way they were treated. At Geno's, nobody ever got refused service for a language problem. What it is...
Then why post the sign, Joey?
I said I made a political statement. Am I entitled to my opinion?
Oh, you are entitled to your opinion?
All right, so I made a statement. If you don't like my sign, now you're speaking English. If you find English to be offensive, then maybe you're in the wrong country.
In 1870, there were 700 Italian Americans in Philadelphia. By 1910, there were 600,000 of them. Until the World War II broke out, there were rich little Italias where Italian was the main language in Philadelphia. There was another sign posted in 1941. You know what that sign said? Don't speak the enemy's language, because Italy was on the other side in World War II. Don't speak the enemy's language. Isn't that the same sign? Isn't that what Joey is saying here? Don't speak the enemy's language. Isn't it? That's where the Italian language neighborhood.
Let me bring Stu Bajkowski. Stu, your opinion of this when you first saw the sign and a reaction to either Joey or Geraldo here.
Well, when I first saw the sign, I was there. I was getting a cheesesteak. It was actually on my wedding night.
The voice of reason. Is his wife in his house? Is your wife here today? Did she come here? She's hiding in the back.
She's in the back somewhere. It was her request because she had never had a Philadelphia cheesesteak, God knows how, and she's also a vegetarian. So, but she decided for that one night only, April 8th, she would go. So I actually saw the sign. It never registered on me. It didn't register on me until the Inquirer actually had a story about it, and that seemed what kicked off the whole thing.
Where'd you take her on your honeymoon, McDonald's?
That was the start of the honeymoon. I can't read what's in Joey's mind. None of us can. I think what he is, my guess is what he's saying, making a statement there about a pro-American, learn to speak English, it would be better for you. The sign does say please. It does say, it would be like, please remove your hat. Do you have to remove a hat? If I ask you to remove your hat, am I being unfriendly to you if you're bald? It was just such a huge tempest in the teapot, made worse when the city Commission on Human Relations got involved. Totally ridiculous.
Okay. Geraldo, let me ask you, would you take this before the Human Relations, or would you deal with it in a different way, this sign?
I would have the same conversation with Joey that I'm having here before all of your listeners, and I would say to him exactly what I said. There are I know a lot of Spanish people, Spanish-speaking people, or just Spanish people, people whose parents speak Spanish or are of Latino or Hispanic origin, who would find that offensive. And I'd say, Joey, you know, you're a great guy, you have a wonderful product here, it's legendary. Why do you want to offend part of the community, particularly this town where brotherly love is the essence of what Philadelphia is?
Joe, can you answer that? Why did you do this?
Here we are in a country where primarily the English language is spoken. You're going to tell me people coming here are better off not speaking the English language. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I know thousands of Latinos, Joey, from coast to coast.
Yes, okay.
I don't know a single one of the thousands. My dad was one of 17 children. None in the second generation who don't speak English.
Okay, so
it is part and process of the American tradition. They come here, their parents are more of the old world or one foot in each world. The children learn, the problem is in the third generation, they forget Spanish. My friend Cheech has a song, and you played Neil Diamond's Coming to America.
Right.
Cheech used it in his Born in East L.A. movie. The irony is our children don't speak Spanish, so Cheech has a song that goes, Mexican Americans like education, so they go to night school and they take Spanish and get a B. You know, that's the problem.
So in other words,
the problem isn't that we're overwhelming the English language, it's that the immigrants are forgetting how many Italian youngsters speak Italian these days?
I don't speak Italian. This is my
Well,
country.
is that a good thing, Joey?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm here in America. I have no loyalty to Italy. My loyalty is to America.
You don't have any affection for your ethnic tradition?
I'm loyal to America. America first.
How many times have you been to Iraq? I've been to Iraq 9 times. Don't you think I'm loyal to America? I am proud to be a Spanish person, but I'm loyal to America.
Then you're against America. But listen, Theodore Roosevelt, 1907.
I quote him in the book.
All right.
It's in the book.
Now,
yes.
All right. Do you believe when he said, to be an American, you must be an American and nothing else? If you say you're something else, then you're not a true American. Now, I took that. Listen to my opinion. My take on it is, when people ask, what are you, Joey? I'm an American of Italian descent. I don't go around telling people I'm an Italian American. If I really truly believe that, I should go back to Italy.
Do you believe you're better off to be monolingual?
No, I believe
in this world we live in, where the world is flat, according to Tom Friedman.
Let's get this perfectly clear. I don't care if you learn 100 languages.
Do you scorn people that learn languages? Okay.
You can. There's over 500 languages. Do you know what 500 languages?
I will learn as many as I can.
How about all the dialects? Maybe 6,700.
I will embrace as many as I can.
You know them all. So why is it that we took the Spanish people, let them go to school and learn Spanish when it was strictly...
Did you design that sign specifically for Spanish
immigrants? I took that from Theodore Roosevelt in 1907.
Did you...
That come from Theodore Roosevelt in 1907.
Did you design that sign
what
for
part of that
Spanish
last question did you have in mind?
What did you have in mind when you posted it?
Joe, can you answer that?
I made a political statement.
Joey Vento, did you design it specifically? Was it toward Hispanics or in general?
It was toward anybody illegal that don't speak English.
What motivated the sign? I want to know cathartically how you came up with this idea.
In general business, through all business people I was dealing with. Joey, are you having a problem with your orders? I said, like what? Miscommunication, not getting the right order. I see, I've been having some problems there. It seems like nobody wants to speak English anymore. Everybody wants to speak another language other than English.
Wait, let me get this straight. They couldn't order a cheese steak, a Philly cheese steak?
Well, I'll tell you what.
How many items do you have on that menu?
I'm coming over Friday night and standing in front of the window. I don't.
All right,
come in and stand there.
Okay, Joe, hold up. Stu Bykowski.
And first of all, let's get something straight.
Joe,
I don't
excuse me,
have
Joe.
to defend that sign.
Joe,
if you don't like the sign, there's a competitor you can go to.
Joe, we got your point.
I only want people that are true Americans that want to speak English.
Okay, Joe. Stu Bykowski.
You only want true Americans to eat your sandwich? Is that what you're saying? A true American to you is someone who only speaks English.
No, a true American that says he's American and is willing to adapt, simulate, and speak the
Joey
English
and Geraldo. Oh, guys.
Assimilation is not what we're talking about.
Excuse me.
Exclusion is what we're talking about.
Excuse me. Stu Bykowski. Broader issue in Geraldo's book. This sign is just a flashpoint. We're going back, and we've gotten inside, at least both sides, what they see in the sign. Geraldo in his book talks about the fact this English language movement is based on fears that are misguided and misinformed, the global point out of it. You've written about stuff like this. What do you say?
Can I use an anecdote?
Yeah, sure.
A week ago, Sunday, I was on a ferry, and there was a guy in front of me who was wearing a baseball cap, and on the back of the cap was stitched, language borders culture.
Right.
And I looked around to the front. I couldn't see exactly what the front was, but it clearly was a pro-America statement about some kind of immigration. And if you looked at that, I think you figure, uh-oh, here's a hater. We were on the ferry going to Ellis Island to see the Immigration Museum. Now, I can't know what was in his heart. I think, though, if he hated immigrants, he certainly wouldn't be going to Ellis Island, where they are honored, and where there is a wall of people who gave money, basically. And my grandparents' names are on that wall. In the course of this debate, I have been accused of being anti-immigrant. And that is as despicable a lie as calling me racist or something. I am pro-immigrant. The United States, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, takes in illegally about 1.3 million immigrants each year, legally. That is more than the immigration that is accepted by countries in the rest of the world combined. So please do not talk about America as being racist or exclusionary when we take in more than the rest of the world.
I don't know that Geraldo's saying that. Geraldo, are you saying that?
Absolutely not. I just want to ask Joey, I want to flash back to the Philadelphia of 1940, before the United States entered the Second World War, where you still had thriving Italian language cultural clubs and community centers and the Little Italy neighborhood. And now your grandparents are there, and your grandparents go up to a store just like yours, Joey, and they read that sign. Would you have that sign so your grandparents could read that sign?
I just got done saying, if you're speaking English, regardless what nationality, let's get that perfectly straight.
But I answer the question in terms of your own family's immigrant
I just got done
tradition.
explaining what happened to my grandparents. Now, what part of that do you not understand? When they want to
stop being a tough guy.
All right?
Don't be a tough guy.
I'm talking calm. Don't come up with
that may work with other people.
That's not working with you. You're going to scare me. Come on, get over.
All right, guys, please.
Okay.
All right. Don Giordano coming to you today with a special great immigration debate here from the Philadelphia Daily News building. Our participants, Geraldo Rivera, Stu Bybkowski, and Joey Vento. Let's go to Angel Ortiz, who's former city councilman here in town. And Angel, any comments on what we've heard so far?
No, Joey Vento speaks about his grandmother. It was me, the Lower East Side of Manhattan, getting hit constantly by other people saying to me, "You're an American now, speak English." All throughout my growing up period. That's a sense of really insulting who you are all the way down the line. And actually, what they did is they created a sense of shame among Puerto Ricans at that time. That you were not the same, that you were not equal, that you didn't belong here because you spoke with an accent, whatever it is. That sign was offensive when it started. It's offensive now. And that's why the taqueria is opening up and is getting more business right now. And a lot of folks are going over there, and a lot of folks are going to Pat's. Obama went to Pat's. Okay?
Well, you want a Dale fantasy guy. Now, you find it offensive that you came into a country speaking English. Why'd you come to this country? Or why'd your parents come here?
My parents
came here for the better life. Am I correct?
My parents
to make
came here
money
to work
and live a better life.
My parents,
and to do that,
my parents came here to go to the Lower East Side and be cheap labor for 35 years. That's why my parents came here.
That's why you
and
have to learn
That's why I went to law
English,
school.
and you have to come legal, and that wouldn't have happened
Puerto
to
Rican.
you.
He's a citizen of the United States born. Every Puerto Rican is a citizen.
Guys, let me direct you back here, Geraldo. Okay. Angel, excuse me. I know. Okay, Angel. Let's move off the language issue.
Well, then you come to the window and you order you're going to get the next thing off the grill. It might not have been what you ordered.
Joey, please. To the borders issue. Talk about in your book a little bit, and this was the dispute we saw with Bill O'Reilly that was one of the best moments I've seen in TV in quite a while. Were you feeling that during that?
Yes, it was quite something. I'm still feeling the reverberations, as is Bill. But just quick 4 points. Immigrants get blamed for a lot of things that just statistically are not true. They get blamed for the rise in crime. They get blamed for economic turmoil. They get blamed for terrorism. They get blamed for health problems, all based on canards, all based on false reporting.
We'll get to those. Can I bring you back to the borders? Let me ask you, Geraldo,
Yeah.
do you favor carefully controlled borders?
Yes,
You do?
I do. I think that you can't have a sovereign nation without carefully controlled borders. You need an inventory of who's in the country. I totally agree with that. That's why I backed President Bush, John McCain, and Ted Kennedy's comprehensive immigration reform bill, because it had a border-enhanced security aspect, and it had compassion and an understanding of our immigrant tradition also for those who are already here, lured by decades of the combination of lax enforcement and the promise of jobs.
Let me talk to you with John Morganelli, who's the DA of Northampton County. John, if you stand up with us. I think Geraldo may know of you, and you're one of the leaders in enforcement against employers. Speak to that issue, and you might have a question or comment for Geraldo.
Sure. Well, first of all, Mr. Rivera, it's a pleasure to meet you. I would tell you this. You mentioned about crime, and I'm a DA now for 16 years, and I can tell you that it's not that people see that the immigrants are committing all the crime, but we have a lot of crime being committed by illegal aliens, and we've had a lot of American citizens killed at the hands of illegal aliens. And we have enough of our homegrown criminals here. We don't need foreign criminals coming across that border illegally and committing more crime. Now, as far as
but wait a second,
go,
you can't let that statement go unchallenged. Hold on. There's 2 points I want to make. 97.5% of the population of local, state, and federal prison are citizen-born. Number 2. A study by the Public Policy Institute in California just found that Mexican immigrants between the ages of 18 and 25 are 8 times less likely to commit crimes than citizens.
Listen,
it is false to suggest that they are responsible for your crime wave.
About 25% of our federal prisons are filled with illegal immigrants.
That's absolutely untrue. Have you seen the GAO report? To you to say that to your constituents, you should be ashamed of yourself. That is absolutely
they're on
untrue.
violent crime. They're on there in deportation issues.
That's not true.
We have 1 million.
There are 55,000 illegals in prison and a population of 2.3 million. That's
He's challenging your source in these statistics. What can you say to back it up?
The information that I have comes from studies that were done.
What studies? Please.
The Center for Immigration Studies have looked at this. And here's the thing.
I cited the General Accounting Office study, the last study, 2005.
How about the MS-13 gang, which
there are problems.
20,000 illegal aliens just in Los Angeles, and they're moving eastward.
You made a statement.
And Geraldo, here's the thing.
Mr.
Why should
District Attorney,
wait a minute.
Mr. Elected District Attorney, you made a statement that was false.
Why should American citizens have to put up with foreign criminals coming here, killing American citizens, driving drunk like those poor girls killed, let me finish, in Virginia Beach? We don't need to have foreign criminals coming across that border.
Philadelphia has lost 500,000 residents in the last 20 years. 500,000 have left. Philadelphia, the last time I looked, was being called by the most pejorative expression I have ever heard, Philadelphia. And if you examine those statistics and you examine who's perpetrating those crimes and who's being victimized by those violent crimes, it has nothing to do with immigration, sir.
But listen, here's the point, Geraldo. We understand we have our homegrown criminals, but when people are being killed at the hands of people who do not belong here, these are people that would have been alive had these foreign criminals not been here.
You divert the attention from your true
They'd be
problem,
alive.
the deep-seated socio-economic problems that this city and other cities have, the cities that have had these spikes in violent crime, Philadelphia, St. Louis, Detroit, Cleveland, none of them have anywhere near the immigration.
Thank you, John, very much.
Geraldo,
Geraldo, thank you. We're going to take a break.
It's the Great Immigration Debate on the Big Talker 1210.
It is a great immigration debate here on the Big Talker 1210. We're live at the Philadelphia Daily News Enquirer building. Thanks to our partners, the Fence Guys, and also the Philadelphia Daily News. We'll be starting to take questions from the audience. Ed Palladino, our Associate Assistant PD, the man standing in the black suit looking threatening, will be ready to take your comments. And I'll come around and we'll put you on with either Geraldo or Joey. Just direct it to one or the other, or the voice of reason on this panel, Stu Bykowski. Geraldo, Joey, I was looking for an area searching the wisdom of Solomon, and this is hard for me to do to find agreement. Usually talk radio doesn't do that. And I'm wondering if we all three could agree up here that streamlining legal immigration, Geraldo, we'll start with you, is the thing that's crying out to be done as a first step.
The first step was to de-racialize our immigration policy, because as you know, Dom, in 1924 we passed the National Origins Act, which specifically made racial quotas part of the federal law. Northern Europeans got 76% of the visas. By then, Italians were cut to only 3%, Greeks to 1.5%. The perception that you were less white in the eyes of the immigration officials is what affected the visas. There were no local legal visas for Latin Americans. I would love to see a process where the country recognizes what is in its best interest. We are a vibrant, vital mosaic. We take the energy from the four corners of the earth. That's what makes the United States special. To harness that energy, the vigor of of diversity, that's what will make us special. But I do believe, and there are plenty of experts that can show us how to streamline it.
Yeah, so this should be no big deal. Stu Bajkowski.
Currently, if my figures are correct, the origins of immigration is 2.5% from Africa, around 25% from Asia, 51% from Latin America, 15% from Europe, Canada, Australia. So basically it's 85% non-white, 15% white, basically. Now this was actually given to me by a fellow I ran into on the street who seemed shocked by that percentage. And when I asked him, what do you think the percentage of the world's population is, white versus non-white? And he got it like that. It's a fair delineation. And in the course of this discussion... What do you mean by that, fair? I mean, it's apportioned correctly. I think you would give open the door.
Now.
Now. There were discrimination in the past. It was in the past. And for this discussion, I hope each time you use the word immigrant, you either use it as legal immigrant or illegal immigrant, because there's a huge difference. I think most of us...
Okay, let me ask Geraldo, are you resistive to that? Do you feel when we say illegal immigrant that there's something mean-spirited about that too?
I think, well, when you consider, I mean, to use the expression illegal alien, which I find more offensive, much more offensive than illegal immigrant. What is the crime that they are committing? The crime is unlawful presence. It's the lowest level federal misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in prison or a $150 fine. It is the lowest level federal crime you can have. So to brand them as criminal when you have rapists and murderers and all these other criminals who are out there is kind of a stretch. But okay, so I don't make the distinction. I'll grant you that they are here. Their presence is here unlawfully. But I think that in my view, as long as you are compassionate toward the 12 million who are already here, and we move forward from this point in agreement to streamline immigration policies, to enhance border security, to have a colorblind policy that's whatever is in the best interest of the nation and in unifying families, as the Pope and the President agreed last week and signed a document to that regard. Just last week, they were together Wednesday in the White House. Then I'm all for it, and I think there is a distinction, but I would, by compassion and some passing immigration reform, obliterate the need to make a distinction.
All right, Joe, would you be about that, streamlining it and legal immigration part of the event?
This gentleman have all statistics, so we'll just go past that right now. I don't care what country you come from, as long as you come in here legally. That one, we can have you clarify whether you have a disease, whether you're a criminal background. I have no problem with that. There, we have to secure our borders. But he wants to leave. What do we got, 20 million, 30 million here? Okay, we'll pat you on the head and we're going to make you legal now. You get all these benefits. What do we say to the people that have been waiting 10, 15 years? They're coming here. They already paid their dues. They want to assimilate. They learned our language and culture and willing to do the jobs that everybody claims nobody wants to do. All right, the reason why they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it for slave wages, and that's what's happening right now. So these people, we come in, now you're going to give them amnesty. What do you think happens to 20, 30 million amnesty people we got? Now they're all legal. American citizens. Hey, no more $3 an hour for me or $6, whatever it is. They're going to unionize, and they're going to be right up here. What's the business people going to do then? That's the only reason the business people are interested right now. Their own profit. It's all about money. That's all there is to it.
Let me bring in Al Weiss, who's Joey Vento's attorney at Binder and Weiss. We talked a lot, Al, and you know Joey better than I do maybe even, about the motivation that came out about the sign throughout the hearing, et cetera. Speak to that issue about Vento's motivation.
Okay, well, first of all, Joe testified at the hearing. He had two motivations. One was a simple business motivation, that his people only speak English, and to take orders, he's asking customers, please speak English. The second part of it is a political statement. He believes, and as Geraldo puts in the book repeatedly, that all the Hispanic leaders that he quotes, Herman Badillo and others, you have to learn the English language to be a success. This was a positive statement. Some people say, when Councilman Ortiz says it's a mean sign, maybe the signs on the Lower East Side were mean. I don't see this as a mean sign. When Herman Badillo tells the children, you know, you have to learn English, and people are quoted in the book as saying that the problem is the bilingual education. The problem is you have to turn off the Spanish language TV stations. When a Spanish leader, Hispanic leader says learn English, it's compassionate, it's proper. When Joey Vento, because of the way he sounds or looks, says learn English. I was a success, I learned English, learn English. It's the way to be successful in this.
Let's give Geraldo a chance to respond.
As I suggest, I have nothing against compassion. There is nothing compassionate about that sign. What Joey admits, even his counsel admits, he was making a statement. It was an in-your-face statement. It was, again, and I bring this back to the irony of this being the city of brotherly love. It was the exact opposite of what this city stands for and has always stood for. Tolerance, inclusion, compassion. There are ways to say that. You say, stay in school. You say, be all you can be. You say, we're all in this together. That's not what Joey Vento said. What Joey Vento was saying is, there are you, there are them, and there are us. That's why he's on cable news on a regular basis.
No, it's because I'm a good-looking guy.
I don't deny that, Joey. I don't deny that.
All right, well, we'll stipulate. Wait a minute. We'll stipulate for the record. All three gentlemen up here are beautiful. All right, Ed, do we have anybody in the audience? We're ready to take questions. If we, Ed Paladino will be around here in a second. And at home, we're trying to squeeze a call or two in at 215-839-1210 and 610-664-1210. South Jersey, 856-541-1210. We'll try to get you in here on the Big Talker 1210. Stu Bykowski.
I just wanted to make a quick point. I'm not a native Philadelphian, but I've assimilated, I think. And I love Philadelphia and what it stands for, but please, Geraldo, before we get overwhelmed with the feeling of love in the city of brotherly love, I'll remind you of the anti-Catholic riots in the 1800s. And
I covered MOVE. I covered every city has their problems. I'm talking about the ideal.
Yes, the ideal, but let's not gloss over. And you yourself admit that the coming here illegal is the lowest level of federal crime. It's still a crime. How can you be so upset when we say it's illegal?
I'm much more concerned with violent criminals who are upsetting. Joey talks about the tens of millions, in Joey's view, 12 million, whatever Joey's using, 30 million, whatever it is, who are here, quote unquote, illegally. Isn't it interesting that even in these times of economic turmoil, we only have an official unemployment rate of 5%. What does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? That means that these 12 million who are here illegally have been absorbed by the American economy. They are working. Joey says they're only doing $3 an hour jobs. That's not true. In the meatpacking industry, they are the unions. In the poultry processing industry, they are the unions. They have revitalized town after town throughout the West, through the South and the Southeast, North Carolina, Arkansas, Alabama.
They lowered our culture of living and our standards.
How dare you say that?
Come on down 9th Street. I'll show you.
What are you going to show me? You're going to show me Spanish people that have lowered your quality of life?
Substandard wages.
Is that what you're going to show me,
You should be ashamed that you allow your people in the same way they live. You should be saying to yourself, get out of that power. People are capitalizing off of your people, and you are allowing it.
You don't care about statistics because ignorance is bliss.
Rise above that.
Okay, Joey, hold up. We have a special guest checking in, the guy who led another national flat point, Mayor Lou Barletta of Hazelden, Pennsylvania. Mayor Barletta is with us here to speak with Geraldo. Lou Barletta, it's a shame you couldn't make it today. I know you're doing an important speech in Harrisburg. You're on the Big Talker 1210 with Geraldo, Joey Vento, and Stu Bykowski.
Hi, everyone. Nice to have an opportunity to talk today.
Mayor, yes. We've been having this debate here. Geraldo, I'll let you ask the question. If you were holding a news conference with the mayor, what would you like to ask him about Hazelden?
Is your city better off or worse off since you began your campaign against the immigrants in terms of the gross
illegals,
municipal product, in terms of the economic vitality of your downtown? How are you doing?
Well, we have not been able to enforce the ordinance because of the restraining order put on the city. The city is much quieter. We have seen many illegal aliens leaving the city. However, we continue to have the problem until the ordinance could be overturned. For example, we just arrested and broke up a fraudulent documentation ring in Hazleton last week, where a young man was selling fake IDs to illegal aliens, and that was said that they were citizens from Puerto Rico.
Yes.
So, we continue to see the problem, and our
Well,
budget.
Mr. Mayor, can you address his question? Are you better or worse off?
Well, we're still worse off until we can enforce the ordinance. We have seen many leave, but there continues to be a problem.
How are your businesses in town faring as they leave?
Well, actually, they're doing very well, Geraldo. Thanks for asking that, because 26 to 30 new Hispanic-owned businesses have opened up since I passed the ordinance. Many who have come to Hazleton to make it their home, that want me to protect their children and their businesses and their communities. So that they continue to thrive in the city.
Protect them from what, Mr. Mayor? Protect them from what exactly?
Well, it's pretty simple. When you have a very small budget in a community like ours, and you have a drain on that budget, and you can no longer provide public safety, when you can no longer provide health officers, code enforcement officers, when your hospital is strained that if you have a pain in your chest, you're going to wait 5 or 6 hours in the emergency room, when you've seen ESL in your schools go from $500 to over
federal courts, Mr. Mayor.
For over $2 million. But you know who's hurt the most by this? The legal immigrants, and I've become a voice for them, because you and others who have opposed me have forgot that. You forgot about the legal immigrants that deserve the education that we should be giving those children and the jobs that they should be. We've allowed an underground workforce to compete with legal immigrants.
Everything I hear about Hazleton is that the vitality is seeping out of the city as a pall of fear settles over it like a putrid fog. And let me say something else. I want to say something else, Mr. Mayor, if I may. And let me say this about what Joey Vento said about my people, and he pointed his finger at me and said, your people, you should go down to your people. You know what's happening in this country?
Spanish,
you know what's happening in this country? The vast majority of the Hispanics in this country are legal. They are citizens. I had a call from a guy named Sergio. I was live on the radio, Fox Radio. He called me from Oregon. He's a citizen. He's got a kid, 2 sons, 1 5 and 1 7. Citizens, born in Oregon. The kids came home from school crying. Why? Because they were being called border jumpers in school. They are being singled out for their hate crimes are up against Hispanics 23% because of this kind of hate mongering. And however you disguise it, that's the way it is. That is the way it is playing out.
First, let me challenge you to come to Hazleton and see firsthand before you make false accusations, as you did in your book. You mischaracterized.
Mr. Mayor, Dom Giordano, I see a Big Talker remote broadcast.
Okay, I accept, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
if Dom will host it,
I will host it. I will go there.
I accept. I will go to Hazleton.
All right.
That's
Put on the schedule. There we go. Thanks. All right. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Lou Barletta.
Thank you.
We have a question from the audience. Go ahead, sir. What's your question? Tell us who you're addressing it to.
Hi, I'd like to address it to Joey Vento. I'm going to go to your store, or your restaurant. I think you're a great guy. And the question that I have, I was a school teacher in the city of Philadelphia, and the students who are immigrant, illegal or legal, tend to be very respectful, and they're hardworking. They don't say the F word to the teacher, whereas the American students, the students in Philadelphia, tend to be rather disrespectful, and there is violence in the schools, as you well know. What is it about the immigrant culture that makes it that they are more respectful to adults, and also they're hardworking?
All right, Joey.
Well, you're talking about legal immigrants, am I correct?
Legal or illegal?
No, I only address illegal. All right, I have the legal ones evidently come from nice families. So, and that's what they're brought up. So that takes care of that school, because they were taught not to be disgruntled in school, not to use the F word, and they were brought up that way, family structure. What my agenda is illegals. You want to get in another department, take it to somebody
else.
My country tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.
It's the great immigration debate on the Big Talker 1210.
It is a great immigration debate live from the Philadelphia Inquirer Daily News building on North Broad Street. We have with us Geraldo Rivera, Stu Bykowski of the Daily News, and Joey Vento. We have a questioner from the audience. Sir, give us your name and where you're from and your question.
Lance Silver from Philadelphia.
Who's your question directed to?
Geraldo and to Stu.
Okay.
How many billions and billions of dollars do we spend as a society unnecessarily on illegal immigrants in the United States?
That's an excellent question. Excellent question. Stu has a different view than I do. All I can tell you is the research I've done, most recently at the Anti-Defamation League. They had a seminar which included the Mexican ambassador. Every study except for Boro at Harvard, every study, scores of them indicate that illegal immigrants add more to the American economy than they take away. Every study in every state. Let me give you one quick example. The district attorney from the suburban county mentioned identity theft. When you get a fake Social Security card, you have to pay the Social Security tax, but you have no chance of redeeming that money at the end of your working life. That money is being paid into the federal government. Basically, it's free money for the federal government. Those kinds of computations are rarely made by ideological talk radio hosts, I'm not including Dom, by people who are motivated to make a political point. The fact is that they contribute more to the American economy than they drain away. That's not to suggest that there aren't places, for example, in Los Angeles County, where the emergency rooms are overwhelmed with illegals. There are places where public school systems really are overtaxed by children who are here. The children may be citizens, but their parents are not. There are definitely costs involved, but overall, as a national phenomenon, there is no reasonable doubt that immigrants contribute more to the American economy than they drain away.
All right, Geraldo, thanks for that. We're going to have to wrap up with final thoughts. I'm going to start with Stu Bykowski and then go to Joey, then Geraldo. Thanks to the fence guys, by the way. Notice there are fences that were here.
I was wondering what that was doing.
There was no reason we put Geraldo, or hell, we didn't put you near the fence on that side. You can sit on this side over here. There's no fence over here. Stu Bykowski, final thoughts.
I take comfort in the fact that Geraldo just referred to them as illegals, so now I can do that without feeling that I'm a racist. As to the question about...
Well, that's to be yet to be turned later on, yes.
I'm a racist, okay. That will be taken out of context and put on YouTube. I'm not a racist. The cost does not matter. I don't. Do they add? Do they subtract? You can make the figures come out any way you want. It's simply that it's illegal. You should not do things that are illegal. I don't care what your motives are. And I thought we were going to agree on streamlining. I guess not, because what does streamlining mean exactly? Does it mean amnesty, like in 1986, and we will have the whole thing happen again?
Okay.
Is that what we want? Legally?
No.
We can have 5
well, that's for the next hour. Stu, Joe, final word.
Well, I'm kind of with Stu on this one here. Definitely no amnesty as far as that goes. I know Geraldo's got figures, and you know me, I showed you my figures, and they're way different from when so he's got his opinion. I think they cost us 3 times of what they put back in. So as far as I'm concerned, the trick is just come here legally and speak our language and assimilate, and you'll have a great life. And in the meantime, I don't know how we're going to do it, but you got to get rid of these people, put them in the back of the line. Try coming to Geno's on a Friday night and jump in front of the line, see what happens.
Let's take the generally accepted figure of 12 million people who are here illegal. Right. That's 6 times the number of people that we have in prisons. Our prison population is the largest prison population on earth. So there are 6 times more illegal immigrants than there are people in American prisons, state, local, and federal. You're not going to put them on trains or cattle cars to remove them. Be reasonable. Let them come out of the shadows. Let them be part of the process. Let them raise their children.
All right, a nice round of applause for our panel. Geraldo Rivera, Fox News Channel tonight at 8 o'clock. Tonight at 8 o'clock and tomorrow night from 8 until 11. Wouldn't you like to see Vento and Geraldo on Fox News Channel? Stu Bykowski, the voice of reason today, an unusual role. Best supporting actor role. And, of course, Joey Vento from Geno Steaks.
One last word. Could Joey get one last word? I respect Geraldo.
I respect that. No
He
problem.
wants to come over here and do them right. But what do you say to the people who wait 15 years? Smack your face, you dummies. You should have snuck
Stick to
across.
cheesecakes, Joey.
All right. It's one of a kind. Let's thank the fence guys and look at their handiwork here. I'll tell you this, that's not virtual. That's real.